Suéltame, suéltame ahora, baby, suéltame, suéltame ahora, baby, déjame, suéltame ahora, libre, libre de tu amor, no lo compliques, tirando techo a la cara te olvides, las cosas cambiaron, la situación cabrón, suéltame para siempre, no mires atrás, las cosas cambiaron, la situación cabrón, suéltame para siempre, no mires atrás, las cosas cambiaron, la situación cabrón, suéltame para siempre, no mires atrás, Cuando me dejan un mensaje de la rama, cuando peleamos a las 2 de la mañana, tú no vale la pena nunca volver a mi cama. Cuando pones mi canción favorita y me baila con tu jodido cuerpito, it's a trap, I know, tryna reel me back, cause you never let it go. I know, you never let it go. I know. Suéltame, suéltame ahora, baby, déjame, suéltame ahora,
Check.
baby, suéltame, suéltame ahora, baby, déjame, suéltame ahora, libre, libre de tu amor, no lo compliques, tirando techo a la cara te olvides, las cosas cambiaron, una situación cabrón, suéltame para siempre, no mires atrás, suéltame, 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 suéltame. Baby, ya se acabó. Tú no tienes que dejar a él por mí. Y baby, ya no lo compliques. Quiero disfrutarte una vez más aquí. Solo tú y yo esta noche celebrando a ti. Belén, ven, guaguancó. Belén, ven, solo tú y yo esta noche siempre me encendí. Belén, ven, guaguancó. Belén, ven, guaguancó. Siempre vas de mis manos, pero tiene mi atención cuando está aquí, yeah. Y da la vuelta, baila rumba cool y suelta, subimos las vibras y la cuenta, una noche más de fiesta, ella, bellaquita, estoy tentado a volver contigo. Y dice, Belén, ven, guaguancó, Belén, ven, guaguancó, Belén, ven, guaguancó. Solo tú y yo esta noche celebrando a ti. Belén, ven, guaguancó, Belén, ven, solo tú y yo esta noche siempre me encendí. Belén, ven, guaguancó, Belén, ven, guaguancó. Fumando mucho sabiduría, con el bendición de la vida, tan libre contigo en las montañas, cuando me bañas en el espíritu de tus labios, dulce de mi caña, tierra de mi vida. Fumo muchos sueños pa' que no te olvides, nadando en tus aguas y tu alma decides, mojadita en mis manos pa' que vuelva y mides. Belén,
microphone was on the entire time. Yo, what up, family? Chat. What's goody? I got some new toys. You feel me? Pause. I got some new toys. Look Nefertiti, I got the arm thing, you feel me? And I got the thing for the fucking camera shit. We're doing it, baby. We're streaming for real on YouTube live. Thank you guys for joining the fucking chat. Thank you guys for joining the live stream. How's everybody doing? How was Nefertiti's the rest of her chat? Yer. ¿Cómo suena? ¿Cómo suena? How is everybody doing tonight? I'm gonna put some background music in the background. You like? Did you like? You like this? It's nice, right? Hold on, let's go to this camera 1, camera 2, little camera 1, camera 2 action. I didn't even clean anything. My bad for the mess, guys. All right, we're good now. Forgot to clean up, but that's okay. We out here. Third stream's a charm. Yes, I did it right. I did it right this time. I had the whole thing set up on YouTube or whatever the hell that thing was. Made sure that joint was on the fucking the live stream software, whatever it was. So we're good. We're doing great. Janelle Costa, I appreciate the subscription, by the way. Thank you so much for subscribing. What's going on? The most high. I wish I could be high right now, but I can't because I'm on a break for this entire month of no smoking February. And it's been a struggle, guys. It's been a bit of a struggle. I'm not gonna front. But we're getting through it. We're doing we're trying to bring in good things in our lives. I feel like weed is like one of those things that are holding me back from, you know, my full potential, making me lazy, procrastinating, et cetera, et cetera. So we're trying to bring in some good things, some light, some positive vibes, positive energies, and we're making it happen. It's working. I feel great, kinda. Could use a blunt right now, but you know what? We don't need it. We can do without it. Anyway, guys, thank you guys for coming to the chat, coming to the live stream. We have something really special I'm going to be doing today, which is I'm going to be getting into some drum and drum percussion. ¿Cómo se dice? Some drum percussion production techniques that I've been using that I kind of want to share with you guys. This is strictly for Ableton. You can probably apply it to your DAW, but there's like a reason why I wanted to do this live stream specifically to boast about how fucking dope Ableton is and how it's like the top production DAW of all time, but also about how super customizable and how versatile you can be with drums and percussion samples within Ableton. And maybe you can apply it to your DAW. Maybe they have something similar, but I think Ableton has like the easiest way to customize drum racks, to customize your drum chains, and et cetera, and all that stuff. So we're going to get into it. One thing I wanted to also mention as more people start coming in, if it's only you three, then that's totally fine. Hey, Ladito. Hey, what's going on, brother? T180 Mark, what's going on, man? Hope everything is good with you. Thank you for joining the live stream. I appreciate you. You came in at the right time because I was just talking about how I will be giving out, even if it's you 4 or 5, I'll be giving out a $25 gift card to somebody in the chat. We're going to go maybe like about 45 minutes into this whole drum percussion technique for Latin music production, and then we'll get into this $25 gift card giveaway that I'm going to give to one of you guys in the chat. One of you lucky motherfuckers in the chat are going to receive one of these. I curse a lot, so if this is your first time meeting me, just know that I'm a sailor and I'm proud of it. We say fuck, shit, dick, pussy, darn. That's about as graphic as it's going to get. But, yeah, man, I'm really excited. Did this shit turn off? Let me see. Camera 2. Camera 2 still good. Camera 2 still good. All right, the battery pack worked. Who said drink some tea? Why? Does my voice sound fucked up? Oh, it is. What? T180 Mark. T180 Mark. Like the calculator? Honestly, I've never. I don't even know what is that a brand of a calculator? I don't know. I don't know brands. Calculator brands. I fucking hate math, so fuck it. All right. So, because you're always clearing your throat. Man, that's because I'm trying to speak the truth. So I got to let me clear my throat. Man, let me get some water. Hold up. All right, we're good. It's TI, not T1. Oh, TI. That's what I said. Didn't I say TI 80? I can't see shit. Sometimes you gotta let the water spill all over you so you can make shit happen. Anyway, guys, clear my throat again. Let's get it going. And we are going, yeah. All right. Sure. I'm going to start off kind of like not necessarily winging it, but I'm going to get into kind of a brand new production, right? I'm going to do something from scratch. There you go there. I'm going to do something from scratch, which I thought would be kind of fun because I don't think I've done that on a live stream before. But doing something from scratch. So I kind of want to show you guys how dope Ableton can be when it comes to drum customization, drum chains, but mostly drum customization, because I think the best thing about Ableton is its versatility when it comes to drum production and percussion production, especially when it comes to like samples and shit like that, right? So what I'm going to do is actually in the chat, if you guys want to throw down a BPM, give me a BPM, any BPM. Don't be like 180. Actually, any BPM. Tell me a BPM in the chat right now, and we'll start with that one. While you guys are telling me what BPM I should go with, we'll go with majority. I'm gonna go on El Spliso. Where's Splice? Splice. Is this Splice? No, it's not Splice. Let's go on Splice really quick. If you don't have Splice, Splice is the best for everything. I gotta log in. Music at gmail.com. And let's put our password. Do I remember it? All right. So 123, 105, 89. What is a BPM? BPM is beats per minute. So, for example, in your DAW right here, see this little thing right here? This is the BPM. So it could be 120. It could be 110. It's basically the tempo of the song, how fast you want it to be. You want it to be slow. The lower the BPM, the slower it is. The faster the BPM, the faster it is. Pretty much. Let's see, 123, 105, 89. Let's go with 105 with Janelle Costa. You win. You win everything. So let's start with 105, and let's grab a sample. Let's grab a sample here. I don't know if my Filipino friend Lester is on here, but I apologize to the Asian community in advance. Grabbing sample. So in Splice, you can type in like 105 BPM, and it'll bring up a bunch of samples that are 105 BPM. Let's just go to drums, because we only want some drums. There's nothing I have here that's 105. Maybe like that. Okay, cool. So let's go through these samples really quick, and I'm going to choose something random. Let's see. This is cool. I already like this. Let's see what else they got. go to loops really quick. I think we're gonna have to go with like a Afrobeat kind of vibe. I think that'll be dope. So let's go with the Afrobeat vibe. I'm not even gonna think a lot on this thing. So we're gonna take our sample right here. We're gonna drag that bad boy into an audio track in Ableton. All right. Get it nice and big for you guys. Wink, wink. Let's go. So let's loop this right here. Let's make it like an 8-bar sample. Let's loop that bitch. So we got our sample. Now the whole point of this live stream is to basically show you how you can take a sample from anywhere in the world, anywhere you want, off your phone. You can record something in the middle of the street. You can get a sample off of Splice, off of multiple websites where you can get samples. And I'm going to take this entire sample apart. And I'm going to take it apart, and I'm going to see what hits it within the sample that I want to take. And then I'm going to create a custom drum kit using just this sample. So we got a kick, we got a snare, we got some hi-hats, we got some percussion. There's 4 elements of drums and percussion in this sample. So I want to take it all apart, and I want to create a custom drum kit that I can save. And if I want to use it for another project, I can do that. So I'll show you how to do that right now. Sure. I'm going to shut up for a little bit. So what we have here is the kick. I like that kick. The kick is nice and strong. Say I want to use that kick, and I want to put that into a custom drum kit, right? So let's actually do a brand new MIDI track over her. And then we're going to go here. We're going to go to instruments, and then we're going to pull up a drum rack. All right. I'm sure many DAWs have a drum rack. I'm pretty sure this is applicable to a bunch of other drum racks. And what I want to do is I want to take apart all this shit, and I'm going to drag them into here. And it's so fucking simple. It's ridiculous. So if I want this kick right here, Command E, so I can cut that clip, and now I have access to this clip, right? So I got this kick from a part of the from the sample. So now all I'm gonna do, super easy, take this clip, and I'm gonna drag that bitch to C1. Boom. So now when I play it, go. Go.
Go. I keep forgetting I have these like effects and shit, so it's pretty sweet.
So yeah, now we got a kick. Cool. Cool. And I wish you could like zoom in. I don't know if that's like a feature that I can do on Ableton. Oh, let me see. No, I can't. I'll figure it out in a later thing. But essentially, you have your kick here. Boom, rename it, and it's called the kick. Pretty simple. Now I need a snare. So I have 2 potential snare percussive sounds I have here. I have this one, and then I have this one. So I'm just going to take both of them because I think I can possibly use them for something. So we're just going to cut them, edit them, bada bing, bada boom. Pretty simple. And we're going to drag them. And we're going to call this one, let's say this is more like a side stick thing. And then this one will probably be our main snare. Our main snare. Actually, I'm going to connect my what's it called? My MIDI keyboard really quick so I can have a little more versatility with this thing and show you guys. And we'll do this one. This is our main snare. Very cool. Now, let's find, I believe there was a hi-hat in here somewhere. It's more of a percussive sound. So this is cool. Let's just take apart the whole fucking thing, and then we'll figure it out when we get everything. So this is a little percussive hit. a little perk. Boom. Not to be confused with the drug. Let's see. What's here? This is a strange sound. I don't know what the fuck this is, but we're going to take it anyway. And we're going to drag that bitch. And we're going to call this one Strange Sound. There's people yelling outside my door. Did I spell that right? Nope. Fuck it. What else do we got? Let's see. Oh, this right here. The doo 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 doo. Very African. Yeah, very basic African sound. Finding like all Afrobeat music. And we're gonna call that Afro perk. Now I still need a hi-hat. So I'm gonna actually go back to splice. Alright, if you don't have splice, please get it. And we're just going to type in hi-hat and one shot. Not put no space on there. And by the way, if you guys have any questions at all, just please feel free to throw them in the chat. I will explain as much as possible. This is only my 3rd live stream, so we're learning as we're going. So, what we got here? God damn, that's loud. I like this. I like this. I really like this. Let's take this one. And we're going to add that to the drum rack here. Cool. So now we got our sounds. We got a kick. We got a side stick. We got a snare. We got a hi-hat. We got a perk. We got a strange sound. And we got an Afro perk. Now, let me connect my MIDI keyboard. Because I come from... my first instrument was the drums, so I never really like to input sounds like into the clips and stuff like that. I like to play it and get a feel for it versus versus kind of just writing it in, which is nothing wrong with it. I'm sure like there's a lot of people who do it, and there's a lot of people who are really good at that shit, but I just prefer to just play it, get that nice feel. No quantizing. Alright, so let's make a little beat. Now, mind you, we could totally use this entire sample right here. And I have nothing against people who use loops to make productions. It's all you. I do it sometimes. It works smarter, not harder. But for the sake of this, I'm going to show you guys with MIDI, kind of taking this entire sample right here and recreating another beat with those sounds. And again, that's another benefit with using Ableton is you could pick apart a sample, and there are a shit ton of samples that you can pick apart, and essentially you'll have an infinite amount of drum racks. If you want to see here, let's go to my drums here. I have an infinite amount of drum racks, some already coming with Ableton and some that I've made myself. So I have so much to choose from when it comes to sounds, specifically drum sounds, percussive sounds. And we just made another one right here with a simple 4-bar sample, drum sample. So once again, it's like the infinite amount of customization in drums that you could do on Ableton is ridiculous. So if you get into this shit, you know, I'm like a fiend for just drum sounds and samples and even like recording it off my phone, going into the city, and if there's somebody playing the drums, I'll just record the motherfucker and I'll take that shit, I'll bring it back home, and I'll fucking slice it up and come up with some dope drum sounds. So now we got 105 BPM right now. Shout out to everybody who just joined the live stream. You do know what I'm saying. We're going over drums, percussion, Latin music production, and showing you guys some techniques, some moves, some tangs that I've learned over the years. Now, where are you? There you go. our sounds on our MIDI keyboard. So let's make a beat. Let's make something really simple. Actually, let's recreate an Afro beat, right? So I'll make the beat, and then I'll start adjusting the beat to how I want it to sound like. Let's go right here. Bam. Right? Super simple. Doesn't gotta be crazy. And just for the sake of this, to kill time, I'm just gonna quantize it from here. And let's just use this right here. Alright. So we got more sounds to fuck with now within that beat. That's dope. So let's add that in there really quick. Bada bing, bada boom. That's all we need. All right, what are the sounds we have? Got a hi-hat. Nice little simple sound right here. I'm a sucker for like off-beat, off-rhythm fucking shit. So we'll add that in there as well. Good. All right. It's coming together. What else can we add to it? This hi-hat right here, we can add some add it to the thing. I'm gonna bring it down a little bit though. Bring down the gain. And maybe we'll choose like a quarter note, like something just to keep it moving forward. Something simple, nothing crazy. We'll have some variation. We'll have one without it, one with it. Bring down the velocity a little bit. A little more. And I'll show you guys a little trick with using velocity that you guys can use for any kind of music. All right, cool. So my drum, my kick drum, I don't like it. I don't like how, I guess how there's like, it sounds like too mushy, too plushy, right? So for example, don't really like it. Might change it, but let's see if I can fucking fix anything about it, right? And another great thing with Ableton is that the versatility of what's it called? The sound design for drums is, again, it's infinite. You can do just so much. So for example, I want this to have like a very deeper kind of sound. So if you have like a kick, or just like, for example, if you're I don't know, you're using that sound and you want to use that as your kick, literally you can do that. It's just all about trying to make it sound deeper, trying to make it sound a little subbier, right? So what I want to do is I want to cut off some of those highs from the kick, right? So here's one thing you can do. Just get a simple EQ, play this shit. Let's mute it really quick. Solo it. So let's roll off some of those highs. Now it's starting to sound like a real kick. All right. Another thing I want to do, see how this kick is hitting right here around, where are we? It's like 47 kilohertz. That's where your main meat of the kick is going to be hitting. I don't need anything below that. Because what's going to happen is when I put my bass in here, it's going to leave space for all this low end here. So like around here, like between like 20 and 35, 40, that's where my sub or my bass, that's where it's all going to live, right? I'll make it even more drastic here and take off those highs. All right, now let's see how it sounds with everything together. Make the attack note just a little bit quicker. Right? You want Latin music to have a very staccato, especially rhythm. You want it to have a very like quick, punchy kind of like sound, very staccato, using a musical term, staccato. It just basically means like quick hits versus like something where a kick will have a lot of resonance, which basically means like a kick that has all this extra shit in it, which is all this air, right? That makes the kick kind of airy. I don't want that. I want it to be very quicker. I just want the hit to be quicker. I'm gonna make it like that. Cool. All right, moving really quickly. Let's go to our snare really quick. I don't like the snare either. Oh, actually, what I meant to do was drag the EQ that you have into the kick. Now, there you go. That was my bad. So now we got that kick sounding nice. Very punchy, very quick. Boom. Now let's check out this side stick right here. Snares, you want to have some air. Sometimes. Most of them. But I actually want to switch to this section of the snare to this other one that I have here that we picked before. And bam. I like this one better. Bitch. All right. Make it a little bit quick on the sample. Let's cut it a little bit. Cool. So here's a tip that I want to give you guys when it comes to drum production. It's very important that you understand where the frequencies are within each drum that you're using. Reason for that is because your drums can really quickly sound super muddy if you're not cutting frequencies within the mix or within the production. I'm not going to talk from an engineer's point of view, just from a listener's point of view. When you're producing, you want to cut off certain frequencies that you do not need with your drums. Usually when you get drums, you get samples from Splice and all this stuff, they're already EQ'd, they're already compressed, so you don't really have to do much to them unless you want to add character to it, some color to it. I might add some a different compressor on top of this beat right here just to give it some kind of color, a little more dynamics within the song. Maybe I want it to be even more compressed than it already is in the sample, right? So you want to try stuff to experiment with different things so you can get the kind of sound that you want. But always make sure that for each individual sound that you use. Now I'm using MIDI right now. I usually have in everything a separate track for each drum. So I got a track for snare, track for kick, track for hi-hat, track for percussion, track for whatever it is. And you want to make sure that you're cutting off frequencies that you don't need so it doesn't interfere with the entire mix. Because if you have a kick, for example here, and I'll show you a little example of this too. If you have this kick, right? And now I want to add like I want to add 808 to this motherfucker. I'm not professional at all. But you're going to see how muddy it's going to sound now. Let me actually put the gain up on this move. Right. Let's bring up the gain here. Right. So for example, the bass is going to live around here, right? It's all this stuff right here. That's where your 808, your bass is going to live. You want to make sure that you're not interfering those two frequencies together when it comes to your drums and when it comes to your bass. Because it's just going to sound muddy and it's going to sound like shit and your mix is going to sound like shit and you're just going to piss off a lot of people, especially if you're sending it to an engineer that it's going to be like, yo, what the fuck is this? You want to have everything kind of like clean in the production before you send it off, at least me, before I send it off to the engineer so they can fuck around with it and have a little more versatility with it and they can be able to control things a little more and you'll get a cleaner mix at the end of the day. Once it goes into the mastering process of it, you're gonna you're just gonna have a way better fucking song, just in general, just like a better beat, better mix, better everything. So, for example, what I was getting to is, I'll just say, and I kind of want to, and this is also another thing too that maybe you guys, I don't know if you guys do this, but tuning drums, for example, you want to tune your drums to the 808. Or you want to tune the 808 to the drums. And because I've kind of been doing this for like a really long time, I can just like hear it just by listening to this kick. So that kick is kind of hitting around like, I'm going to say E flat. That kick is hitting. So that's where I want my 808 to live, so that when you hear both of them together and everything is tuned, that's also going to clean up your mix. It's also going to make the shit sound way cleaner, way better. Everything is in tune. Your snare is in tune with the 808. The kick is in tune with the 808. Your percussion instruments, everything is tuned, and you're just going to have a way better sounding drum rhythm production. So it sounds like it's in E, so I'm going to keep it right there. Right, I'm going to do a little cheat code right here where I'm just going to take the MIDI from the kick, right? Something also you can do that's very quick that you can do in any DAW is just take the MIDI from the kick, drag it into your 808. Oopsies. I'm going to drag it into your 808. And if you want, for example, your 808 and your kick to hit at the same time, this is something that you can do if you don't already do it. If you do, fucking awesome that you're doing it because it saves a lot of time and a lot of headache. But if you don't, you basically take that MIDI from your drums, take out everything but the kick. So all you have is your kick, right? Make your fucking MIDI long so it has those like nice long notes for the 808 versus like the quick ones from the kick. So you have that 808 kind of ringing out. And then you're going to bring it to, what did we say, E? I said E minor, right? And we're going to bring it to E. Let's do it like up here. I think it'd be nice. I'm making it a little bit longer. And we'll legato that bitch. Yeah, make sure you like and subscribe. Right? So now your kick and your 808, they're hitting at the same time. You got a cohesive sound. So now when you put everything together in your rhythm section, right? Your drums and your bass, it's going to sound dope. And all I did was make the drum beat. Took the same MIDI that I did, dragged the kick MIDI into the 808, put it in the correct key, and then you got that. And then it's super easy. You just go into your 808. Just pick some notes. Right within the key, So when it comes to levels, which is super important, you want there's like a kind of like a trick that you can do to make sure that your 808 doesn't sound louder than your kick, because your kick is technically supposed to be the loudest thing in the mix, your kick and your snare. And then the 808 kind of wants to sit underneath and around the kick, right? And first of all, it starts with gain staging. If you don't know what gain staging is, it's just basically getting your levels, just getting your levels sounding fucking good. And getting them sound balanced before you even start putting compression, before you even start putting saturation, before you even start putting all these different effects. And that's the mistake. That's the mistake that people make first, is that they'll make a production, they won't even think about levels, they won't even think about volume. They're just gonna start fucking putting a bunch of effects on it, compressors and saturators, and make it sound as loud as possible, which is not what you're supposed to do. Before you get into any effects or anything like that, like, go to the foundations first. Make sure your fucking levels are they sound balanced, all right? Because if you just have this, and look where my fucking master is hitting, and I have a limiter on there, right? You don't want your drum and your kick to be you don't want your drum and your kick, exactly. It's not even necessary, because, like I said, a lot of these samples already come with compressed. They already come compressed. They already come EQ. They already come with saturation. They already come with effects. So it's really just about getting your levels sounding good and then applying those different colors and effects. It's like you're doing a fucking, like a painting, right? You're just like, you don't want to fucking throw rainbow on that bitch automatically. You want to start with the fucking base, start with the coat, and then start building on top of it. And it's kind of like the same thing with sound and leveling. You kind of want to start starting with your bass and your coat, and just like building and getting every color, getting everything right, before you get into the effects portion of it. Anyway, so yeah, you don't want your fucking your production to just the kick and the snare and the drums and the 808 should not be hitting at 0. It should not be hitting 0 upon first producing your music, all right? You want to keep that shit like around like -12, -8, like around there, so you have a lot of headroom. Again, that's like a mixing thing, but we're not getting into that right now. Anyway, gain stage. All right, so I'm gonna put my drums to like -6. And I'll keep that right there. All right, so now we got a little bit of headroom. I'll probably bring it even a little bit down, just a little bit. And I want to see red lights. I don't want to see red lights. Red lights are the devil, literally. The trick that I was going to mention to you guys is that if your kick is, for example, hitting at like -6, and this is like just something that I just, I read and I just follow other people and shit. But if your kick is hitting at -6, you want your 808 or your bass to pretty much be hitting like -6 dB below that kick. So for example, if your drums are hitting at, if your kick is hitting at -6, I want my 808 to hit at -12. Is that funny? Is that funny? Fuck red. Yeah, you want your kick to, if it's at -6 dB, you want your 808 to hit like around -12, roughly, just like a rough estimate. But you want it to be like around that range, because again, you want your 808 to sit underneath and around the kick. You don't want it on top. You don't want it too low. So like, just for like a starting dB that you can use, -6 to kick, -12 the 808, and just adjust to your ears and how you like it. Like this. See, like my 808 is like hitting really hard anyway, because I put the gain up and I put all this stuff. I have no effects on it, by the way. And this is like the 808 I use. It's, what is it, OTR sample pack that I have. That's the 808 that I use for everything. But again, gain staging, I'll bring the gain down a little bit here on the track, so I get a nice sound. But keep your gain, your track volume like around -6 for the kick, -12 for the 808. So we got like a little bit of a balanced sound right there. Okay, cool. Let's go back to our drum rack. This, and I'm gonna loop this. Now, you want to start cleaning up your drums and making sure that everything is tuned and all that stuff. I won't get into like the tuning stuff. That's just something you kind of have to do as you go on. I'll give you a tip though, because now that I know that my 808 is hitting at E minor, a way that you can check that for your drums is something on here called Spectrum. I'm pretty sure that it's basically a visualizer for your frequencies. I'm pretty sure every DAW has this shit. There's some that do it better than others. You don't need a crazy one. You just need to know about what frequency is hitting. So let's go to utilities and we'll put in a Spectrum. And let's, for examples, for shits and giggles, let's do the snare. We want to tune the snare, for example, right? So let's go to the snare. We'll solo this bitch. And it looks like... I dropped my MIDI keyboard. It looks like it's hitting the most. It looks like around 2 kilohertz. It's hitting around C. So it'll tell you the frequency it's hitting, and it'll tell you the key, the note name of that frequency. So I'm sure there's a lot of DAWs that have the same information, but it is hitting like around. Actually, it's hitting around A sharp, B flat. So if you know music or all that shit or whatever, you'll know that you want to essentially you want to get your snare to hit like around E minor. Let's just say you want your kick, your snare to hit around E on the spectrum right here, right? So we're at A sharp 5. So all I'm gonna do is go here, and I'm gonna transpose the snare until I hear and then we can go back to our spectrum. Where's it hitting? It's at G. Bring it down a little bit more. Almost there. So like it doesn't have to be exact. It's not an exact science, but you want to get it at least close to around the same around the same frequency that your kick and your 808 is hitting. I'll bring it down here. That sounds good. And now the kick and the snare are tuned. And now that your snare even sounds a little bit more fatter and more punchier because I transpose it down, so it's going to bring down the quality of it, but it's also going to make it punch through. Why do you send things out to an engineer? Is it for outboard gear mixing, mastering? I send things out to a mixing. So this is something I learned. Let's go to camera 2 really quick. This is something I learned just by doing this for a really long time and doing it over and kind of like obsessing over it. Is it's just basically for the pure fact that you as a producer will fall in love. Most High B, you have a great night. Most High, have a good one, bro. Thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you next week. Hopefully you'll be here next week, man. The reason for that is because as producers, we fall in love with our production so much, and we fall in love so much that we want it to sound a certain way that we don't even give that a second ear to somebody else. So for me, I think that I get too close to my productions and I need to step away from it. So I send it to a mixing engineer so they can deal with that. And you want a second set of ears because there'll be some things that you're not even going to pick up on as a producer that the mixing engineer will pick up on. And that's how you kind of like learn. And this is how I kind of like know a lot of this stuff because, for example, I'll have a production. It'll sound muddy as fuck. I'll send it to a mixing engineer. He'll tell me, dude, it sounds, the kicks are too like fucked up here, da-da-da-da. And then it's kind of like a trial and error process. So the mixing engineer is pretty much for like a second ear, right? You want to like give that job to the mixing engineer, and then the mixing engineer shouldn't be mastering. The mixing engineer shouldn't be mastering the shit either. That should be sent to another person, a mastering engineer who actually does that shit. You want people who do what they do for a living to do what they do, essentially. I don't know if that makes sense, but if you're a producer, be a producer. Don't be a producer and an engineer. Don't be a producer, engineer, and a mastering engineer. You'll go fucking crazy. You know what I mean? You can be good at, you could be like kind of decent at each three of those things, but would you rather have it be decent, or would you rather just have the full quality of each stage? You want 100% production, 100% mixing, 100% mastering. You don't want fucking half-assed on every single part of that song, and that's really what separates like the fucking, the sheep from the wolves is what are you willing to do, or what are you willing to give up to make your fucking song sound fucking dope? You know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta like, you gotta give up your, as I sit here doing everything. No, it's true, because I was doing the same thing too. I was literally fucking producing my shit, writing the shit, composing the shit, arranging the shit. And then after I'm done producing it, I gotta mix the shit. And then I gotta make sure, and then I gotta master the shit. And it's like, you'll burn out. That's what it is. Your ears are gonna burn out, and you keep listening to it, and you're just gonna go fucking crazy. That's just the reality of it. Now, some people can do it. I doubt. No, definitely like a handful of people that can actually do it like correctly. I maybe know like 2 people probably, but like for the majority of us who don't really have that patience, and we're trying to put content out, and we're trying to put music out, you allocate the time to somebody else who can take care of stuff for you while you work on the stuff that you actually like to do, which is the production. I hate mixing. I fucking hate mixing with a passion. It's that and recording vocals in the studio are the 2 things that I hate. I'm not gonna say hate's a strong word, but I dislike doing those things. Just and you have to like let go of shit. You know what I'm saying? You have to like give the job to somebody else to take care of these different things for you, so you don't go crazy and you don't burn out. And yeah, it's only going to make you better. It's only going to make the quality of your music better. You know what I mean? Now, if you end up getting a shitty engineer, then you're shit out of luck. But, it's just about finding that right engineer, and then finding the right mastering engineer, and just basically having separating yourself from from the mixing aspect of it, and just focusing on one thing. And then then it becomes clockwork. Then it becomes like a factory. And then you're like, boom, send it to the mixing engineer, work on the next production, boom, send this one out, da 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 da. And it's only gonna make you better. So, but again, you do it all the time. You do it a lot. You obsess over it like I do, and you'll start picking up on things that engineering things, like audio engineering things, that you'll start implementing into your productions. Now, when I produce, I'm always mindful of gain staging, for example. I'm always mindful of it sounding muddy. I'm always mindful of removing all the low end from a kick, or all the low end off of a snare that you don't need, because you don't need it. And it's just common sense shit. It becomes common sense shit. I'll show you what I mean, actually. In terms of like having things in sounds and samples that you don't need. Camera 2, 1. So anyway, that was like a whole thing on the spectrum on tuning your drums. Now, for example, your snare. Let's drag a EQ to the bitch. Now take a look at the snare. See all this right here? All this low end rumble? You don't need that in a snare. You don't need that unless you're trying to make a fucking kick snare, which is stupid. But snares live around here. They live around like 1K, a little bit higher. You don't need the frequencies of a kick to be in your snare. So you cut all that shit out. And then also think about when you're doing vocals at the same time. When you're putting vocals, you don't want all that low end rumble from your vocals as well, because that's only it's just gonna make your shit sound super muddy. You don't need all that. So take out all the stuff that you don't need in your drums. Right? We took out all this stuff here. Kick snare. Same thing here for this side stick. You don't need. Let's see if it has any low end. Yeah, you don't need all this. You don't need any of this. Cut that shit out. Cut that shit out. Cut that shit out. All right? And all it's going to do is just going to clean up your mix, and it's going to sound fantastic. Going through each of them now. Right? There's some low end rumble here. You don't need this. You also don't even need any of this high stuff too. That'll save space for something else that you might need space for in the mix, like some guitar or fucking synths that can go on left and right. So anyway. All right, we're about like an hour in, almost an hour in right now. Let's see, how many people are in the chat? There's only 2 people in the chat. Well, so much for that fucking raffle. I guess we're gonna do only 2 people in the chat for this raffle then. I'm pretty sure I saw like 8 people and then it went down to 2. People don't like knowledge. So what we're gonna do is let's see who's actually in the chat in the thing. We have 3 concurrent viewers. So throw some fire emojis in the chat if you're actually in the chat, because I have no idea who's on, to be honest with you. I know that Nefertiti's on, so we're going to put her. Bang, bang. Who else we got? Janelle Acosta is in the chat. Thank God, because I'm a big fucking nerd. And some people, especially producers, they don't want to hear... They don't want to hear, oh, as long as it sounds loud, bro, I don't care about... Blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay. That's why some of the mixes sound like shit, because all you care about is it being loud and not about it being right. Cool. So Janelle and Nefertiti are the only one here. Hey, yo, this is hilarious. All right, cool. Somebody gonna fight over this. Here we go. $25 gift card. Not the bro voice, bro. All right, are you guys ready to see who's gonna take this $25 gift card? SLD. Is SLD in here? Let's put him in for shits and giggles. You know what? We'll put me in there for shits and giggles, because if I win this, that'll be great. Well, that's not my government name. All right. We got 4 people in the chat right now. And let's see who's going to win. We're going to spin this wheel. I'm really excited. Someone's going to win $25. Here we go. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boop. It's not. What the fuck? Go now. Oh, shit. Scared the fuck out of me. Wow. Nefertiti.
Oh, man.
I mean, I guess it's fitting. You've been in all of my live streams, so you might as well have won this shit. I would have just gave it to you. Nefertiti, you won. You're the winner, and I'll make sure you get this. I don't know. How the hell am I going to get this to you? I think I just send you, like, the number or some shit. I don't know. I'll figure it out, but I'll just Cash App you $25. All right. Cool. I'm really happy that you won Nefertiti because you deserved it. More people joined the thing. Well, you guys missed out on $25. You could have bought, I mean, I don't know you could buy anything with $25 anymore, but you missed out. So, shout out to Nefertiti. Congratulations. It's your motherfucking birthday. Let's continue. Goddamn buttons. All right. Here we go. Another cool thing about Ableton that you could do. I'm going to mute this stuff. Is its ability to Ableton has a really good ability to basically take drums and turn audio from drums and turn it into MIDI, which is another reason why Ableton is like one of the best DAWs out there, because you can, like I said, the possibilities of drum customization are fucking infinite. So let's take a drum sound, drum loop. Jesus. Hey, son. Hey. I know. Here you go. This is a pretty simple drum loop right here. Let's take this drum loop. I don't know why my shit is all stretched out over here. So weird. Taking my drum loop right here. And it's so fucking simple and so easy. You go to you right click the shit, convert drums to new MIDI track. Bam. So this is the original drum loop. Make it a little bit faster. All right. Now this is what the MIDI it sounds like. It's gonna the drums are probably gonna sound like shit, but again, it's about getting the groove and extracting it. And then basically from a customizational point of view, that's the one thing I miss about Ableton. Logic does not do that very well. I mean, like I said, Ableton is king. But anyway, you convert those drums into MIDI, and you see here you have all this shit. Let's not go too far with the Logic slander here. I'm sorry, but Logic is great and everything. You know what? I'm not going to talk shit about it. I'm going to be good, and I'm going to say that Logic is a good DAW, and I'm going to shut the fuck up. So now we have all of this, all these drums. Again, endless customizational purposes for something like this. So say, for example, I want to take this motherfucking kick that I got from what we did previously, and instead of using the kick that they have here, just drag it and drop it into that kick right there, and now you have this kick. I don't like that snare, so boom. I'm going to take the snare that I have here and just drag it and drop it really quick into the converted MIDI drums that we just did. Wrong one. Same thing with the hi-hat. I don't want that shit. I'll take the one that I use here. Is this one? And just drag it and drop it on the hi-hat close. Now you got a whole new fucking drum kit. And you used it from, and we took a sample, we took sounds from another sample, made a different beat, and then we took those same samples from that beat and made another fucking, and then we took another fucking drum sample, converted that into drums, and used those drums into this sample. It's just like you know what I mean? It's just, you can do so much with it. It'll make you go crazy, but if you use it the right way and use it responsibly, you won't go crazy. But like I said, just so many different things that you can do. Something I like to do a lot is I like to layer the audio with the MIDI drums. So say, for example, you have like your drum sounds that you want from your MIDI, but you want to keep that kind of same vibe from that sample that you have there. You can layer it, right? All goes back to gain staging. So now you have, and this is where sound design comes in. Now you have a completely different, now you have a completely brand new fucking drum sound by layering, by taking other drums, by taking other samples and putting them together into this one thing. And now the icing on the cake is when you layer the drums and you want them to glue together, so they kind of sound like they're glued together and they sound in unison. You just get a motherfucking glue compressor, any glue compressor. The Ableton glue compressor is king for shit like this. Where you just take a glue compressor, bring that release all the way up. Right? I grouped basically the both drum sounds, and then within that group, I put a glue compressor in there to just glue them together so they sound like one cohesive drum sound, and I just make up a little bit of gain. Right, so now that sounds like one drum sample being played, but it's actually two drum samples and different sounds from other drum samples. It's crazy shit. And then you add your 808. And another thing you want to do, what I like to do all the time, is I like my drums and I like my I like my drums and I like my 808 to be cohesive in that aspect. By that I mean dragging my 808 into the same group as my drums and adding that glue compressor, everything, all of it, and it just glues your rhythm section together, and it just sounds so fucking much better if you want just like a consistent sound. And it's only hitting perfect. It's only hitting like around 8, 9, which is exactly where you want your drums and your 808 to kind of like live around. You want that at negative 8 dB on the master channel, so you have enough headroom to add all the other stuff, the synths, the guitars, the piano, whatever it is you want to add to it, extra percussion. And it even has those fills that thrown in it. It just makes it sound more organic. So yeah. What else can I show you guys about this right here? Say I know this was like a Latin music production thing, but I went off on a tangent. But again, let's go back to Splice and let's go to reggaeton, and I got a bunch of them. Nice little dembo, and we'll bring this shit down to like 90 BPM. I make an audio track. Bring this one in there. Now let's look, and again, let me take out all this shit. Them drums hitting hard. Them hitting hard. I'll go through the same thing that I just did. Get the EQ8. You don't need all this shit. Send me that shit. Send me it right now. Let me play it on here. Seriously, send me that shit right now. I'll play it on here, and I'll tell you what you need. Yeah, you know, you got some perreo going on, right? Let's take out all the other shit. Again, converting the drums. I do this all the time with reggaeton drums because it's just like a simple fucking beat. You can do anything with it. Boom. Take out all this hi-hat shit. Now you have that. You don't need that. You don't need that. You don't need that. And then the great thing about just converting your reggaeton audio track into a MIDI is that you just have more flexibility when it comes to how you want it to sound and what kind of rhythm you want it to sound. Please hold while I transfer your call. Right? What I mean by that is, like, with the MIDI, you could just add like an extra drum there, or you want to add an extra fucking, right? You want to speed it up. And then you can just take the sounds from here, take this drum, take the snare, take the kick and take the snare, and you just drag it. You just drag that bitch. You drag her to the fucking ground into the drum rack. Now you still have the same, you retain the same sound. Let's put the velocity up on everything also, because you want all your velocity to be all the way up when it comes to your drum and your snare, or your kick and your snare. Right? It's that fucking easy. And then compared to, for example, if you had this going on, right? So the whole point is that you're just making, you're just customizing your drums, and you're getting drums from the internet. So you're not using loops all the goddamn time, and you're sound designing, and you're being creative, and you're being experimental with drums. So you're not like, all right, I'm just gonna be lazy and just put this fucking loop in there, and then that's it. You can do that. Cool. Work smarter, not harder. But then it takes away from the creative process of everything. So I think it's important to do stuff like this, where you can create your own drum sounds, and somebody can pick up on stuff like that from a production, be like, yo, I haven't heard that before, or what did you do there, da 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 da, and like, they'll just think you're a wizard because of it. Let me know when you send it, Nefertiti, so I could check that out. And again, just cleaning up the drums, da 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 da. There's not much you need to do to drums, especially like reggaeton drums. Like all these drums, they all come compressed, they all come saturated. So it's really just about extracting those drums and then making it into your own. Essentially, that's the whole point. Let's wait for Nefertiti to send what she's gonna send so I can take a look at it. But yeah, I hope like that was something that like you guys took something away from it. Drums, I think people overcomplicate the drums. It doesn't need to be that crazy when it comes to like sound design and producing them a certain way. They definitely got to hit, but the only way they're going to hit if it sounds clean within the production and you're taking away things that you don't need. And most of the times people just they just think that they need to do more, but they actually need to do less. So yeah, Nefertiti, will wait for you, and we'll go to camera 2. Oh, Lordy. Qué día. El perreo sigue. Janelle, what do you do? I briefly saw that you followed me on Instagram. Are you also a music producer as well? What do you produce Latin music as well? What exactly do you do? I want to know. I'm curious. I'm very curious. Because the fact of the matter is, I think, and it's also cool that you guys are here as well, because there definitely needs to be more. I'm a producer, first engineer. That's dope. That's what's up. There definitely needs to be more woman producers, definitely more woman engineers for sure. I think I've only met like maybe four to just a handful of female engineers. Nefertiti is like one of maybe I want to say like one of 4 producers that I actually know like in person. Which is crazy, which is fucking ridiculous that's what it is. I'm really cool with one of the artist liaisons in Ableton, and one of the things that I told him about that I'm really passionate is getting like women of color to or teaching women of color how to produce on Ableton for free, because I think that that's something that we're definitely lacking or definitely missing more of that in the music space for sure. And they're really adamant, especially at Ableton, about doing being very diverse when it comes to, especially with women, when it comes to like being producers and engineers and stuff like that, because there's a lack of. So it's cool that you guys are here and you're actually like retaining the information and learning from it, because it's important. It's super important. It's important for fucking progress when it comes to this shit. I'm tired of dude producers. I don't know if that sounds crazy, but you know, we need versatility in this shit. So really happy that you guys are a part of it. You're bouncing
that shit.
That's what's up. I'll show you something that I've did recently while she's bouncing her joint. I was the only female in my class. I believe you, because when I took like electronic composition in school and shit like that, there was only one girl. There was only one woman out of like 15 dudes in the classroom. You rarely saw a female engineer, or you rarely saw a female producer. Like, it's just there's a lack of. So I'm really happy you guys are involved in the space. This was something I just finished. And I'm gonna play it while Nefertiti's bouncing her joint.
Humo de Mary Jane y dragones, sonido fuerte y duro de tambores. No te dejaría caer, un poquito alto, no te apures. Volamos. Yeah. Tomar vuelo, vuelo, vuelo. Baila con altura y anhelo. No hay techo, nada. Vuelo. Demasiado lejos del suelo. Baby, te veo, veo, veo ya. Siempre te veo, veo, veo ya. Baby, te veo ya, veo. Siempre te veo, veo, veo ya. No soy rompecorazón, pero baby, te rompo. Llamando tarde como si no fuera un tonto, carajo.
I got it. I got it.
Tryna get used to this high when I feel ya. All night, más chica más. No te quitas, baby, dale pa' acá. Dale tu rol, perreo de yema, ya. Nadando contigo mi alma. Was looking so hard, baby, I found ya. Baby, te veo con todas las ganas. Humor. Humor.
All right, we got it. Yeah, this is like, this song is like my favorite song right now that I did. I think the mix came in yesterday, but it's like one of my favorite ones that I've done so far for what's coming out in like the summer and shit. So thank you guys, I appreciate it. All right, fuck me right now. Not literally. Let's go to Nefertiti's joint really quick. WTG2 draft. All right, let's take a listen. This is Nefertiti. Jams.
I should've known things weren't right. I should've known it wasn't time. Went too fast, should've went slow. Now you're gone and I don't know where to go, 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 go. I should've known things weren't right.
Alright, I love the vibe.
Can't believe I barely made it out alive. You had me lost and caught up in your life.
It's definitely a vibe.
You said you always had my back, instead you always held me back. Now I don't know where I'm at or where I'm supposed to go, 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 go. I should've known things weren't right. I should've known it wasn't time. Went too fast, should've went slow. Now you're gone and I don't know where to go, go,
So automatically, I know exactly what's going on with the mix. Well, not necessarily. I don't know if you mixed it, or I don't know if you or if this is just the production, or if it's like a rough mix, or whatever it is. But I know exactly what's going on, right? Send me something else. I should send man late. Then this is how it feels when people submit their tracks to my streams. It's nerve-wracking. So what I hear is that and maybe this is like again, it could be a creative choice, right? What I hear is that the 808 is overpowering the kick. Now I don't know if that's a creative choice as well. Let's hear it back again. Right, so there's like a lot of mud happening between the kick and the bass. And again, it's creative. It's a creative thing. If you want your bass for this kind of music, if you want the bass to kind of like bump like that, like boom, 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 boom. I will say though, you definitely want kick in this. Like you definitely want to hear some of that kick come out for this, just because. If I were producing this, I would maybe start it off with just the 808 with just the bass, right? Have it like boom, 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 1, 2, 3, and then when it drops, you drop it with the kick, so it just hits even harder within the mix, and you'll hear that like difference. The only thing is you got to make sure that the drum and the kick and the bass are separate, because it sounds like they're one thing right now. You can't really tell what is what. I can't really tell that there's a kick in there, right? Let me hear it one more time.
I should've known things weren't right. I should've known it wasn't time.
And it also sounds like there's a lot of low end happening with the synths as well. Again, that's just like a simple, just like low cut of all the low end of all your synths and all that stuff. So you just leave it as the brightness of like the song. You know what I mean? Just like have those frequencies more resonate towards like everything after like 501k, or maybe probably after 1.5 kilohertz, and that's where kind of like your synths and all those nice little ear candy sounds, that's where they're gonna live, and you'll just pan some of them left and you'll pan some of them right, so it doesn't sound like in the middle. You never want your synths or anything like that to be in the middle. You always want that shit stereo, left and right. And there's a trick also to make to getting a dope to getting like just a dope overall mix when you're producing, is to mix in mono, which is a fucking game changer if you don't know. But mixing in mono will literally increase, because if you can mix in mono and if you can make whatever the fuck comes out of your phone sounds good, because everything that comes out of your phone is mono, right? So if you can make what comes out of your phone sound good, and you can make all the pieces, all the sounds come out, and everything sounds like clear, right? Once you take off that mono once you take off the mono from you put the mono on the master track, and then once you take off the mono from the master track and you'll hear everything spread out, it's gonna be like fucking like an orgasm inside of your ear, bro. It's like, it's gonna just open up so many different things if you mix in mono specifically, or even produce in mono, because like I said, as I'm producing, I'm mixing. So it's not a myth, it's fucking facts, and it's worked all the time. When I started mixing in mono, it's increased my quality of my productions by like tenfold, because what you're doing is let me see if I can kind of show you like an example. So por ejemplo, let me see if I can open up something. What do I have here? I don't know what this is. New reggaeton thing too. Let's find out what that is. I'm not gonna save this because I don't need that. Excuse me. Aggressively rips the page, continues writing. It's like an anime character. Yeah, it's because it's like, it's gonna open up your ears, right? I also have these things called, I don't know if you've heard of these, but these are the VSX Stevens Slate Audio. And let me tell you, these headphones have changed the game also in how I mix, and I'll show you why. But let's see what this is, right? So for example, what's this?
Yeah. Hey.
All right, so this was like a scratch track that I was working on before. So I'm not even gonna play the song in stereo. I'm just gonna automatically just put it in mono really quick, right? So you put a fucking put a utility or whatever the fuck, or whatever that makes your shit mono in your master track, right? And you put mono. I'll play from the beginning. What am I doing with this? Holy fuck, that melody sounded dope. Siempre, siempre.
Hey.
Right, so if you can make your vocal sound dope in mono, it's supposed to be in mono, by the way, you're already good to go. But you want to make all those other sounds around you sound good while you're in mono, right? Things you usually pan to the left and the right are not going to come out as much in mono. But if you can kind of like bring up, like maybe add some saturation, some brightness, there are a bunch of tricks that you can do to give people the illusion through mono that it's stereo, but it's really in mono, right? So let's go here. There's that sound there. And got these little bell things happening. What's this? Right, so this is happening in mono. Now, listen to the difference when I switch it to stereo. It just opens it up. In mono, I don't know if you guys can hear the difference over there, because I can't hear the difference. I think there's something going on with like my audio stuff with the Roland. It's supposed to be left and right. But anyway, you can tell in the waveform here that the shit is in stereo. All right? The shit is in stereo because you have it panned to the left here. Yo, my dumbass is not even fucking... It's not even on the fucking thing. Bien estúpido soy yo. Anyway. Having in mono, something mono in the master track, da-da-da-da. And you can tell that the waveforms right here are stereo because you're having something panned, you have it panned left and panned it right. I don't know what the fuck you did with this, but it sounds like a surround sound in my living room. Really? Why the fuck does it sound like that? I mean, it sounds mono in my headphones. I don't know why. But if it sounds surround sound over to you guys, then fucking fantastic. Let me know if you can hear the difference between when I turn the mono off and on. Just for, let me see, let's do this thing right here. Or better yet, let me do it, let me over exaggerate it. So I'll fucking get the waveform, I will duplicate it, and I'm gonna have both tracks. This is something I do a lot too with piano. I'll duplicate the track, and then I'll pan one left and I'll pan one hard right, just to have that like stereo sound, right? And I'll solo both of these so you can hear it. Now this is with still mono activated. Without. Now it's a little more drastic. Mono on. Now mono off. Right? And you're not going to have those two tracks at negative 6 dB. You don't want them that loud anyway, especially when it comes to synth sounds. You want them relatively low, especially if it's in stereo. You want them relatively low underneath the kick, underneath the vocals, underneath everything, right? Mono on. See, it opens up. It's very subtle, but it totally opens up, right? Mono off. And that also goes in with like how you balance it in the mix, how you balance the stereo wideness of it in the mix. You know, you don't want the stereo to overpower everything. You want it to be like ear candy on the left and your right side of your ears. So yeah, so like when you're mixing in mono, it just opens up it's just a different ball game once you do it more and more and more and more and more. Another thing that if you guys, Nefertiti, if you're super serious about like learning about like mixing techniques and stuff like that as you're producing, a beautiful, beautiful thing you can do. And it's an investment. It's a little expensive, but these headphones with this software, the VSX software, which is this shit right here, is a literal fucking game changer for mixing in general. You throw that bitch on the master, right? After, get your production to like 80%, 85%, right? Once you get your fucking your production to like an 85% completion, you want to throw something like this on there. And what this is going to do is it's going to literally emulate a studio, these like famous studios from all around the world. And it just sounds fucking crazy how, number one, how much it sounds like a studio. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear it on here because you need these headphones to be able to hear it, to actually hear like the difference, like you're in the actual room. It's retarded, bro. It's so fucking crazy. But the one thing that I use this plug-in for and these headphones for mostly is to listen to it in a car. So like they have a car here, electric car, Mike Dean's car, and it sounds like you're in that shit. It actually brings it down the volume. So let me put the volume up a little bit. Oh wait, no. Put that back on there. Yeah, if you're gonna invest into something like for as far as like mixing and shit like that, invest into something into the VSX and the VSX headphones from Slate Digital, because these things were a literal game changer for me when it came to this shit. But it automatically brings the volume down by -6 or something like that. But you can like bring it up. But anyway, Mike Dean's car, for example, you're in that motherfucker. It sounds like you're in the car. See if you can hear it. And it's just crazy how it sounds like you're in a fucking car. It's just really fucking crazy. So I use this plugin specifically so I can hear it like as if I'm in the car, because it's actually a really good emulator for that shit. Also, I think this is the only pair of headphones that has true flat it's the only these are the only pair of headphones, and I think some other ones maybe like one or two, but these are the only ones that can actually emulate a totally flat sound for your mixing, which is this right here, which is the HD linear. And I think these are like the headphones that actually do this shit. But they emulate these headphones that give a true flat sound. And when you have a flat sound when you're mixing, you'll hear everything, and you can balance the sound, and you can balance all the stuff during your mixes. I usually leave it as a true flat sound when I'm producing, just so I can hear everything and level my shit out. But like having like a true flat sound is crazy. You can also do the AirPods, the wired and the wireless, if you want to listen to how that sounds. It just emulates it so fucking good. And the boombox for like a mono sound. So yeah, mixing, the whole point that I'm trying to get to for this whole thing, I got mad excited. But the whole thing that I'm trying to get to is that the fucking thing, the mixing in mono makes a big difference, and it's gonna open your fucking mind to just how you perceive the sound, but also how you mix with intention and how you produce with intention. Because most people listen to music on what? Their fucking phones, right? They don't go on the computer. They don't go on YouTube. They're usually listening to it on a phone, like on their hand, or they're listening to it with like AirPods or some shit like that. So I'm always thinking about mixing according to those things that everybody uses, like everyday people use, because no one's using $600 headphones like these to listen to music. They're using Beats, they're using AirPods, they're using their phones to listen to it, they're putting it on, on whatever. They're using little Bluetooth speakers and shit. So this entire thing has the capability of having you listen to all these things that people use on a daily basis and mixing according to like those sounds and making sure it sounds good in all these different emulators. So yeah, VSX Slate Digital headphones, they're crazy. Definitely get yourself a pair if you have the money, if you want to invest. But it's totally worth the investment. My fucking mixing like abilities have gone up by like at least 20%, and that little bit counts so much. But damn, I think I gotta work on this shit because this actually sounds fire. See how it drops. Let's see how it drops. That's a nice melody. Y siempre, siempre, yo no tengo a ti, yo no te mando a ti, yo no so falta a ti. Yeah, I definitely gotta work on this. I definitely gotta work on this shit. I didn't even know I had that shit. Anyway, guys, I am pooped. I'm fucking done. I feel like I need to go drink some tea for sure. And I need to get off of this shit. And I feel like every one of your streams I discover something else to be bought. I mean, same thing with you, Nefertiti. Like, you literally told me about the VR 1 HD. So, listen, we're all helping each other out. We're all just doing the very best that we possibly can. Yeah, that's all about helping each other out. That's all I'm about, community, and I'm all about that stuff. So I'm always happy to give out information and knowledge for people who are actually going to use it and not be like, oh, well, this motherfucker, you know, whatever. But I'm fucking pooped as a motherfucker, guys. I'm going to call it a night. I hope you guys learned something from this stuff today. I know there was a lot of stuff. I'm going to be doing a lot more things. It's going to be very repetitive. It's going to be very, I'll try to make it fun. I'm learning this shit as I go, how to make these live streams actually live as fuck. And not just let it be about the music, but like trying to teach like techniques and little tips and stuff that I'm learning along the way. And I'm still learning along the way that I'll share with everybody, because I'm not a gatekeeper when it comes to this type of stuff. Like, if there's something you want to know, just let me know. If you need help with something, if you need help with the mix, if you need a second ear, if you need feedback, critique, I'll give you the cold hard truth, and I will do my best to kind of like guide you, so that it sounds like quality shit. So yeah, thank you guys so much for checking out the stream. I'll be here every Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m. on YouTube Live only. Probably do another raffle. Nefertiti, congratulations for fucking winning $25 million. I wish. But yeah, thank you guys so much. And tune in next week at 8:30 p.m. YouTube Live. My name is Laudito. Follow me at Laudito on all fucking social medias, YouTube, Make sure you like and subscribe. Tell your grandparents about me. I'm friendly. And yeah, have a great night, guys. Buenas noches, mi gente.
Mami. Baby, quiero ser el río de tu Tokio. Chingamos en la casa de papel sin negocio. Esta vida nunca se acaba la fiesta. Comiéndote todo el día, que se joda esa dieta. I tell that sucker, 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 yeah. I tell that sucker, I make this motherfucker beg. Puli suelta, media loca, baila choca. I make this motherfucker beg. De peligrites, gangale, bandidos en la noche, yo quemando aquí. Ven acá, suelte mami, así me gusta sofocar. 7 copas, una juca tequila. Sal y sal y sal y sal, perrear. Sal y sal y sal y sal. No tienes vergüenza, mami. Sal y sal, sal, sal. Ajá, no tienes vergüenza, mami.
I got the fattest ass in Queens, bitch. And we really getting money. V. What's up? Robando corazón y todo el dinero. Me gustan los bandoleros. Blowing the bank, tíralo pa' cielo. Lo quiero entero. Dinero, papi, te quiero. ¿Qué es tu problema? Yo tengo sueño. He looking at me like he trying to fuck. Locked in my sights and I'm shooting my shot. Vendido mi amor, tell me what's up. We robbing the bank, are we fucking or what? Venga acá, suerte papi, si me gusta, so fucked up. 7 copas, una juca, tequila. sal, 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 perrea.